Right, I think we're recording. So, I feel like death. I've got a sore throat, a bit of a cold, and I really couldn't be bothered to come out, to be honest, but, you know, I've got viewers to think about, all 15 of them. So, thought I'd come out, get some fresh air. Might make me feel better. Got the ramp, set it a bit further away, look, for a bit more speed. So God knows what'll happen. Out with the Max. Okay, so on this one, slight modification to the strap, you may notice. So instead of going under there, it's now going over the top. What I've noticed is the body is cracking where that goes through. So I might do that to the X-Maxx as well. So basically bracing it on the actual bracing rather than going under the body shell under there. Does that make sense? So now it's actually pushing down on the brace that's designed to be the brace, rather than the going underneath that where it's. So that's the first time I've changed that for ages, and it's been really good. But anyway, just, you know, it's just something I do. Stop the belt body coming off. I've had to trim it at the back because it kept flicking up, so it looks a bit of a mess, but should be all right. I've also stiffened the rear shocks by putting a heavier fluid in, running at 80 weight in the back, and the Sledge green springs. I think that's what goes in the Sledge anyway, but the Traxxas green springs in the back, and the front is the rear stock springs switched to the front. So for those who don't know, a Traxxas Maxx has the same weight shock oil all the way around, but the springs and pistons are different front to back. So it's the same shock absorber size, but with the different piston holes and a different weight spring. So what I did on this one is just buy some heavy Traxxas rear springs with the green bit on them. It's the heaviest ones they do for this type of shock absorber, and then switched the ones that are on the back to the front. So it's not that complex, but that does mean that it's quite a bit stiffer than it was out the box. I've also put my Proline Badlands on. So it's got Badlands on, which are brand new pretty much. But are slightly bigger than the stock sledgehammers. So if you had enough room, theoretically this would be faster, because you've kind of geared it up. Because I don't really have a lot of, well, I don't really go for top speed, do I? But because the run up isn't that huge from there to there, the small wheels are perfect, I thought. But I just thought I'd try it with these Badlands on. And see what it's like. And from what I just saw, I didn't seem to have a lot of air control, which, as you know, is something I bang on about all the time. And basically it's the ability to lift the front end when I'm about to nosedive it. And cars with a lot of torque and a lot of power and potentially heavy tyres and big expanding tyres, you tend to have more air control with. So for comparison purposes, I'll go back to my usual spot. Otherwise I can't really, well, other than the fact I can't even hit that ramp when it's there, at least this will be consistent, you know, to sort of compare it. And also to see if the rear shocks work a bit better, because I am constantly putting skid plates on this, front and rear. because what Traxxas did really intelligently was build the screws into the actual skid plate, you know, into the raised bit of this. So instead of putting the screws or the ridges to protect the screws are kind of in the grooves of the skid plate. So RPM have just launched a new rear skid for it, which when I looked for it in the UK, I think delivery date was November, so looks like I'll be buying a few more of these skid plates. And the annoying thing with them is that they screw into your bulkheads. So if you strip them out, so if you really badly drag the skid plate, you strip the bulk. So the only way of them making the skid plates attach is by just simply switching the bulkheads, which is a real bastard of a job. So not the best idea, not the best design, but the X-Maxx has the same thing. But X-Maxx doesn't seem to rip them out. I mean, I have done. I did it the other week, actually. I have ripped them out on an X-Maxx. Same thing, bulkheads. Yeah, bulkheads on that as well. So it's these things I'm on about. These. They also hold down your front and rear pins for your suspension arms as well. So yeah, it's a bit of an area, that. If you ran on grass, you'd never care less. You'd never wear them out, you know. But running it on sand and gravel and jumping it, you're kind of a bit more prone to scrape them, aren't you, I suppose? But yeah, running up and down a field, well, you never break anything, would you? And fair play to you. Suspension seems alright at the back. No issues with that. For those of you that care, this has got a 6S ESC in it. A Traxxas one. You know, the ones that are crap. So this has got the Traxxas 6S out of a sledge ESC, but the stock motor. And I don't run it on 6S, this is 4S, and it's running a Traxxas massive 4S battery, the big one. It cost £1 million. So a VXL6s ESC. But stock motor. And I thought that the 6S motors, the 6S ESC seemed to make a difference, but could be a placebo. But it's certainly been all right with it in. Maybe just pepped it up a little bit. I suppose it's, I imagine, a bit less bottleneck in the ESC if you're running a 6S one rather than a 4S. Higher amps, you know, God knows, but you think it would. You think it would help, wouldn't you? I might put an 8S one in it soon, because I'm thinking of putting a Max 6 in the X-Maxx, and the 8S is a straight swap into this, so I might put an 8S into it, which should be smooth, shouldn't it? Again, I'd just run it on 4S. I'd use the Bluetooth app to sort of recalibrate it. Whoa, it just caught into the mud there. I used the Bluetooth app to sort of set it up for this small car, because I would imagine the 8S one is going to be designed for a big truck. So I've always wondered how that works. You know, if it's, because if you read the specs on the ESCs and stuff, you know, it'll say, you know, designed specially for the sledge. So does that mean it's not set up to run in a max, or is it, you know, is the torque curve, if there is such a thing with an electric motor? I don't know, but you know, is something set up differently because it's supposed to run on 6S and you run it on 4S? I really don't know. I haven't a clue. Because obviously it doesn't know what it's in, does it? It hasn't a clue. This thinks it's in a sledge running 4S, I'd imagine. That's why I use the app to sort of try to check all the settings are good. So put an 8S in it. I mean, what does it think it's in? It thinks it's in an X-Maxx running 4S. In fact, I don't think you can. So I don't think the X-Maxx can run on 4S. I think it's 6S or 8S, isn't it? So yeah, so that won't be happening, because I won't run this on 6S because I don't want to. So yeah, so this won't have an X-Maxx ESC in it, because I'm pretty sure you can't run an X-Maxx on two 2S batteries. Ow. I think that was on the shelf. Nice. It's making an awful noise, isn't it? When it hits the ramp. I'll put the ramp down a bit so it's not so vertical. One thing this has got out of an X-Maxx is the servo. So the servo is the stock X-Maxx servo. And it's been pretty good. Well, it hasn't broke. And seems to have loads of power to turn these little wheels. Yeah, That's not good. You may have saw me earlier waggling one of these wheels. Oh dear. Oh lordy. What have we here? This is a good one. Well, first off, the Proline wheel has broke. So that's good. That's still in place. Bit of plastic there. So I think with yeah, if you can see that, looks like we've pulled the hex out the bottom end of the arm, bottom end of the drive shaft, CVA shaft. That's a good one, that. And we broke the wheel, if you see that as well, look. Can't tell with this camera if you can see, but yeah. Bit of plastic. Well, at least we've still got whatever that's called, the hex. But yeah, looks like we've pulled the drive shaft out. Otherwise it was going alright, wasn't it? Yeah, strange. It was making a funny noise when I jumped, wasn't it? So I wonder if that was it starting to, you know, just at the end there, it was making a funny noise as it came over, wasn't it? But maybe that was it starting to break away. More than anything, I'm annoyed about that Proline hub breaking there. That's ever so strange. Breaking inside. I mean, these drive shafts aren't dear, are they? They're about 17 quid, I think. So yeah, so that's that. Broken it. Don't normally break this one, do I? Shoe report. Gore-Tex New Balance. Getting a bit knackered. I'm looking at the sale. Thinking of getting some new Herrera. Those of you into your New Balance. These are Herrera trail running ones. I've got quite a few of these. But they do make Gore-Tex ones, so I think they're on offer, so I might buy some new. That'll be exciting, won't it? Get some new trainers, waterproof trainers. It's freezing cold. It's not freezing cold actually, it's about 6 degrees, but it's wet. It's miserable. And I feel like death. So hopefully that's cheered you all up. Oh, pardon me, bit of a belch. Thanks for watching. See ya. Try and turn this off.